The SpaceX Capsule, on a mission to rescue 2 astronauts stranded in space, has now landed at the International Space Station. Pilot Suni Williams and Commander Barry Wilmore went on an 8-day mission, but were left stuck in space after issues with the Starliner. However, the Crew Dragon capsule is not set to return until February next year. For more on this, joining us now is astronomer at large, Fred Watson. Fred, always good to see you. Why do they need to wait until February? Surely they're pretty keen to get home sooner than then.
Yes, it's a really good question, which I asked as well. And it's all about the schedule. So that all these space launches, particularly ones that involve a crew rather than the uncrewed spacecraft that we often see going up and down to the space station, they are scheduled a long time in advance. And even back, a couple of months ago, when it was first mooted that perhaps the 2 stranded astronauts would return with a Crew Dragon a capsule, it was stated right back then that it's going to be February before they can come back. That's locked into the schedule. We will send up a spacecraft with 2 spare seats in it, but it's not coming back till February, and that's the way it is. And I think they're all happy about it, actually.
Yeah, are they? What are they doing up there?
Well, at the moment, Suni Williams, who's one of the 2 sort of stranded astronauts, is actually the International Space Station commander. So she's been given a job, which is one that will keep her occupied for quite a while. I'm sure the same will happen to Butch Wilmore down the track. But they're playing a robust part in the normal operations of the International Space Station, the scientific experiments that are being done, the maintenance that needs to be done on the space station, all of that is all hands on deck, really. So I think a couple of extra hands is very welcome.
Okay, so this latest mission that took off, it sounds like there were a few problems on the way. SpaceX reported that the Falcon 9 rocket, after it broke away, had a few problems. Is that a serious problem or not?
So it was all about the return of the second stage of the rocket. So rockets are in various components. There's a main booster stage, which SpaceX always returns to Earth to use again. Then there's a second stage, which puts the final capsule into orbit. And that is usually basically brought down and lands in the Pacific Ocean. That's the normal destination of those second stages, which is what happened this time. But there was a fault with the braking burn of the second stage, so it landed further down its trajectory than was expected. But it was not considered in any way life-threatening. However, SpaceX has been temporarily grounded, or its Falcon 9 rockets have been temporarily grounded until there is more understanding of what caused that and what actually made that go wrong.
Now, Fred, I understand you're on your way to the Siding Spring Observatory. It's the 50th anniversary, I'm told, of the inauguration of the Anglo-Australian telescope. Tell us more about that for those unaware of the history there.
Yes, this is something that's been part of my life for a very long time. The Anglo-Australian telescope opened in 1974, October 1974, by a gentleman who simply signed his name Charles in the visitor's book, and he's now His Majesty the King. That was the opening. That is what we're celebrating this week with a scientific symposium. So 3 days of discussions about the past, present and future of the telescope, with a lot of reminiscences and a lot of old friends slapping each other on the backs again. It used to be operated jointly with the British, so I ran into some of my British colleagues in Merriwar, halfway up from Sydney to Coonabarabran a few hours ago. The ultimate part of the event, though, will be on Saturday, when we have the annual open day at Siding Spring Observatory. So people will be able to come up from, I think, 9:30 a.m, have a look at the telescopes, have a look at all the activities that go on there, and perhaps wish another successful 50 years to the Anglo-Australian telescope while they're there.
Well, Fred Watson, we hope you enjoy those celebrations. Sounds like a fun weekend ahead. Thank you for that, and thanks for your time.
Great pleasure, Ash. Thanks a lot.